In order to make Mars work, we need kind of the next generation of rockets and spacecraft.
Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Elon Musk stood at the edge of the observation deck aboard Starship Infinity, his latest and greatest creation, staring out at the red planet looming before him. The surface of Mars, a rust-colored expanse of rock and dust, was illuminated by the pale light of a distant sun. After decades of tireless work, failed missions, and naysayers questioning the feasibility of his vision, humanity's most ambitious venture was finally a reality: the establishment of a permanent settlement on Mars. For Elon, now in his late 60s, this moment was as much personal as it was historical. His once dark hair was streaked with silver, and lines of age carved his face, but his eyes still gleamed with the unrelenting curiosity and determination that had fueled his journey for so long. He had already achieved more than most could imagine: revolutionizing electric vehicles, launching reusable rockets, and delivering satellite internet to the farthest corners of Earth. Yet Mars, this harsh, unforgiving world, was the pinnacle of his aspirations. 5 minutes to atmospheric entry, the calm voice of the mission commander came through the intercom, jolting him from his thoughts. "Copy that," Elon replied, his voice steady despite the surge of excitement rising in his chest. This wasn't his first trip to space, but it was the first time he would set foot on Mars. And this time, he wasn't just here to explore. He was here to oversee the culmination of everything he'd spent his life building. The journey to Mars had been anything but smooth. Early missions had been plagued by mechanical failures, budget overruns, and the ever-present specter of human error. The first crewed mission, though successful in landing, had struggled to adapt to the planet's harsh environment. Dust storms lasting months, sub-zero temperatures, and limited resources had tested human ingenuity to its limits. But Elon had never been one to give up. When critics said the challenges were insurmountable, he doubled down, pouring billions of dollars and countless hours into solving problems others deemed impossible. His philosophy was simple: failure was a stepping stone to success. Now the settlement known as New Dawn was nearly complete, nestled in the shadow of a vast canyon system that offered some protection from the planet's brutal winds. The base boasted advanced life support systems, 3D printed habitats, hydroponic farms, and state-of-the-art nuclear reactors to provide energy. Still, as impressive as the base was, its establishment wasn't the only reason Elon had insisted on making the trip. There was something else, a mystery that had lingered for years, whispering at the edges of scientific curiosity. It had begun nearly 2 decades earlier, when astronomers monitoring the Martian surface detected faint radio signals emanating from a region near Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. The signals were irregular, faint pulses of electromagnetic energy that defied easy explanation. Most experts dismissed them as natural phenomena, perhaps interactions between solar radiation and Martian geology. But Elon wasn't so sure. He had always believed that Mars held more secrets than humanity could imagine. Over the years, he quietly funded research to investigate the signals, even as the official narrative treated them as a curiosity rather than a priority. Now, as Starship Infinity prepared to touch down on the Martian surface, those signals had grown stronger, almost as if responding to the human presence approaching the planet. The landing was smooth, a testament to the precision engineering that had become SpaceX's hallmark. As the engines of Starship Infinity powered down, the crew erupted into cheers, But Elon remained quiet, staring out the viewport at the barren landscape before him. The Martian surface stretched endlessly in all directions, a sea of red and orange hues interrupted by jagged rocks and the occasional dusty crater. In the distance, the towering silhouette of Olympus Mons loomed like a sentinel, its summit obscured by wispy clouds. "Welcome to Mars," the mission commander announced, her voice tinged with pride and relief. Elon nodded, a rare smile breaking across his face. "We made it." The next few days were a blur of activity. The crew unloaded supplies, set up communication arrays, and conducted initial inspections of the settlement. Elon, however, couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more waiting for them on this planet. Something beyond the immediate goals of survival and colonization. On the fourth night after their arrival, Elon found himself unable to sleep. The base was quiet, the only sounds the faint hum of life support systems and the occasional crackle of static from the communications console. Driven by an inexplicable urge, he donned his exploration suit and stepped outside, into the cold Martian night. The stars above were brilliant, untainted by Earth's light pollution, and the silence of the planet was both eerie and serene. Elon's destination was a cave system near the base of Olympus Mons, a region that had long intrigued scientists but remained largely unexplored. The mysterious radio signals had been traced to this area, and Elon had studied its topography extensively before the mission. The entrance to the cave was easy to spot, a dark void in the red rock, framed by jagged outcroppings that glowed faintly under the light of Elon's helmet lamp. He paused at the threshold, a mix of excitement and apprehension washing over him. The air inside the cave was colder than the surface, and the walls were lined with peculiar mineral deposits that sparkled like diamonds. As Elon ventured deeper, the radio signal detector strapped to his wrist began to beep softly, indicating an increase in intensity. The path widened, opening into a vast chamber that took Elon's breath away. The walls were covered in bioluminescent moss, casting the space in an ethereal, green-blue glow. Pools of liquid shimmered on the ground, and strange, delicate structures, resembling a cross between coral and crystal, protruded from the walls and ceiling. At the center of the chamber stood a group of beings. They were unlike anything Elon had ever imagined. Roughly humanoid in shape, they stood about 7 feet tall, their bodies translucent and glowing with an inner light. Their skin seemed to ripple like water, shifting colors and patterns in response to his presence. For a moment, Elon froze, unsure of what to do. The beings didn't move, but he could feel their eyes, large and luminous, studying him intently. Slowly, he raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "I mean no harm," he said, his voice shaky despite his efforts to stay calm. To his astonishment, one of the beings stepped forward and mimicked his gesture, its hand, if it could be called that, shimmering with a soft golden light. Elon took a cautious step forward, his mind racing with possibilities. These beings were intelligent, of that there was no doubt, but how could he communicate with them? He tried a series of gestures, pointing to himself and saying, "Elon," then gesturing to the being in an attempt to elicit its name. The being tilted its head, as if considering his actions. Then, in a voice that was both alien and eerily familiar, it said, "Elon." Elon's jaw dropped. "You understand me?" The being didn't respond directly, but instead produced a series of harmonic tones that resonated through the chamber. The tones seemed to align with the radio signals Elon's team had detected for years. "Unbelievable," Elon whispered, as the other beings joined in, their tones creating a symphony of sound and light. Elon felt a connection forming, not through words, but through emotions and shared understanding. The beings seemed to be welcoming him, inviting him to see more of their world. "I need to document this," Elon said, fumbling with the recording device on his suit. But even as he captured the moment, he realized that no camera or microphone could truly convey what he was experiencing. The leader of the beings gestured for Elon to follow, leading him to a passage deeper into the cave. The radio signal detector on his wrist went wild, and Elon's heart raced. Whatever lay ahead, it was beyond anything he had ever imagined. As the passage opened into another chamber, even larger and more awe-inspiring than the first, Elon knew one thing for certain. Humanity's understanding of the universe was about to change forever. Elon Musk followed the luminous beings through the winding Martian cave system, his mind racing with a blend of excitement and disbelief. These beings, so ethereal and intelligent, seemed more like living light than biological organisms. They moved with a grace that defied gravity, gliding effortlessly over the uneven terrain. He couldn't help but marvel at their form, translucent and shimmering, shifting hues in response to their environment. Finally, the narrow passage opened into another chamber. This one was vast, its ceiling soaring into darkness. The walls were lined with bioluminescent moss, illuminating a series of intricate carvings that seemed to depict scenes of life and history. Pools of crystalline liquid dotted the floor, reflecting the soft blue and green glow. At the center of the chamber, one of the beings turned to face him, its hand, or what passed for a hand, outstretched. A wave of calm washed over him, though he couldn't explain why. The being's voice resonated, not in his ears but directly in his mind. "We are the Luminari." Elon froze, stunned by the clarity of the communication. It wasn't words exactly, but thoughts and emotions woven into meaning. He pointed to himself and thought back. "Elon?" The being nodded. "Yes, Elon Musk. We know of you." His astonishment grew. "You know me? For centuries, we have observed your world, your kind, your progress, your struggles." Elon took a deep breath, trying to process the enormity of what he was hearing. "Why?" The luminary gestured to the carvings on the wall. "We have sought to understand, to learn, to warn." The room grew silent, save for the faint hum of energy emanating from the beings themselves. One of them stepped forward, holding a small crystalline object that pulsed with light. The moment the object was brought near, Elon felt his thoughts grow sharper, more focused, as if the device had enhanced his mind. Suddenly, images began to flood his consciousness, memories, but not his own. He saw Mars as it once was, teeming with life. Vast oceans and lush greenery blanketed the planet. Towering structures, far more advanced than anything humanity had built, dotted the landscape. The Luminari, or their ancestors, had lived in harmony with this thriving ecosystem. But then came the calamity. The images grew darker. A species that resembled early versions of the Luminary had risen to dominance. They were brilliant innovators, but their hunger for expansion led to overexploitation of resources. They drained the oceans, mined the crust, and pumped toxins into the atmosphere. The planet rebelled, its fragile balance tipped beyond repair. The air thinned, the waters vanished, and Mars became the desolate world it was today. Only the Luminary, having adapted through extraordinary evolution, survived. The images faded, leaving Elon breathless. He looked at the beings, their glow dimming, as if they were mourning the loss of their once vibrant world. "You've been here all this time?" he asked softly. "Yes, we adapted. We learned to thrive in the harshness we created, but we are not what we once were." Elon couldn't suppress the pang of recognition. The parallels to Earth were painfully clear. And you've been watching us because you think we're heading down the same path. The luminary's glow brightened slightly, a sign of acknowledgement. Your world shows promise, but also peril. We sent the signals, hoping your kind would heed them, would come not to conquer, but to learn. Elon felt a mix of awe and unease. You've seen our wars, our greed, but you've also seen our progress, our ability to innovate. The leader of the luminary inclined its head. Indeed, your species possesses great potential, but potential is not destiny. We learn this the hard way. Elon found himself sinking into thought. The luminary's story was both inspiring and cautionary. What do you hope to achieve by reaching out to us? He asked. To share, to guide, if you will let us. Our knowledge can help you avoid the mistakes we made. He nodded slowly. And what do you ask in return? Respect, collaboration, a commitment to harmony, not domination. Elon's gaze lingered on the carvings again. The scenes of destruction were hauntingly familiar. We've come far, but we're still so flawed. You must see that. We see it. We also see the spark of something more. The words, or the thoughts, resonated deeply. For years, Elon had fought to prove that humanity could reach for the stars, that it could transcend its limitations. But standing here, facing these ancient beings, he realized that reaching wasn't enough. Humanity had to grow. The conversation shifted as they delved into deeper topics. Elon explained humanity's reliance on technology, the wonders it had created, but also the dangers it had unleashed. The luminary listened intently, their light flickering in patterns that seemed to reflect thought. When Elon spoke of artificial intelligence, their glow dimmed. Technology without wisdom, one of them said, is a weapon wielded by a child. Elon bristled slightly. Technology is a tool. It's how we use it that matters. Look at what we've accomplished. Curing diseases, connecting the world, even coming here. And yet, the luminary replied, your world suffers. Your kind struggles with inequality, with short-sightedness. Is this progress? Elon's jaw tightened. We're imperfect, yes, but we adapt. We learn. That's what humanity does best. The leader of the luminary stepped closer, its presence imposing yet calm. We once thought the same, that our innovation would save us, that we could outpace the destruction we wrought. By the time we realized we could not, it was too late. The words hit Elon like a hammer. He wanted to argue, to defend humanity's resilience, but the truth was undeniable. Earth, too, was showing cracks, rising seas, vanishing species, growing divides. Yet, he couldn't abandon hope. There's one thing you're overlooking, he said, his voice firm. Our ability to dream, to create not just tools, but art, music, stories. These aren't just distractions. They're what make us human. They're what make us fight for a better future. The luminari were silent for a moment, their glow steady. Finally, the leader spoke. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps that is what sets your kind apart. But dreams alone will not save you. Elon nodded. Agreed. That's why we're here. To start anew. To build something better. The chamber grew quiet as both sides considered the weight of the conversation. Then, almost hesitantly, the luminary revealed their most startling truth. Mars was once like your Earth, the leader said, but we destroyed it. The signals we sent were not just a warning. They were a plea, a hope that someone would come, that we could share what we have learned. Elon's breath caught. He had suspected as much, but hearing it confirmed was something else entirely. And now? Now we offer you knowledge, but it must be shared, not taken. If you exploit us, as you have exploited your own world, the result will be catastrophe." "I understand," Elon said. "I'll make sure my people do too." The Luminari regarded him with an intensity that felt like sunlight, piercing clouds. Words are easy. Actions are truth. Before Elon could respond, the sound of footsteps echoed through the chamber. He turned to see members of his team entering, their faces a mix of awe and alarm. They had come searching for him, worried by his absence. Now, faced with the luminary, their hands hovered near their weapons. "Stand down," Elon said firmly, stepping between the two groups. "They're not a threat." One of his crew, a young engineer named Patel, spoke up. "Sir, what are they?" "Not what," Elon corrected. "Who? They're the luminary, and they've been here long before us." The team exchanged uneasy glances. "How can we trust them?" another asked. Elon turned to the luminary. "Show them what you showed me." The leader hesitated, then extended the crystalline device. One by one, the team members experienced the same flood of memories, the same story of triumph and collapse. When it was over, their expressions had shifted from suspicion to understanding. Patel was the first to speak. "They're incredible." "Yes," Elon said, "and they're offering to help us, but only if we meet them halfway." The tension in the chamber dissolved. For the first time, Elon felt like a bridge between two worlds. The luminary watched silently, their light flickering softly, as if reflecting cautious hope. Elon turned to the leader. "We'll do this together. No exploitation, no conquest, just partnership." The being inclined its head. "Then perhaps there is hope for you, after all." As the group prepared to leave the chamber, Elon felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity wasn't perfect, but it wasn't doomed either. With the luminaries' guidance, they might just find a way to build a future worthy of both Earth and Mars. Elon Musk strode into the Martian base's central hub, his mind swirling with the enormity of what he'd just experienced. Behind him, the luminary glided silently, their glowing forms casting shifting patterns of light across the metallic walls. The sight was otherworldly, and the humans inside the base froze as their eyes widened, reflecting equal parts fear and awe. "It's okay," Elon said, his voice steady but firm. "They're here to help." The room remained silent, tension thick in the air. A few of the crew instinctively backed away, their hands hovering near emergency tools. Others simply stared, unable to process what they were seeing. It wasn't every day that you met intelligent alien beings, let alone ones who appeared to be made of living light. "These are the Luminari," Elon continued. "They've lived here for millennia, and they're willing to share their knowledge with us, if we're willing to work together." A murmur rippled through the room as crew members exchanged glances. Patel, who had already experienced the Luminari's mind-sharing device, stepped forward. "It's true. They've shown us their history. They're not a threat." Another voice cut through the murmur, skeptical but not hostile. "Why now? Why reveal themselves to us?" The leader of the Luminari, its light shimmering like ripples in water, raised a translucent hand. When it spoke, its voice resonated through the minds of everyone present, bypassing the need for translation. "Because you have reached a crossroads, your kind has the potential to create wonders, or to repeat the mistakes we made. We offer guidance, not control. Partnership, not subjugation." Elon nodded, adding, "They're not just helping us survive on Mars. They're offering us a chance to thrive in harmony with this planet, and, hopefully, with others in the future." The crew's initial apprehension began to give way to curiosity and excitement. One by one, they approached the luminary, some hesitant, others eager. When one of the beings extended its glowing hand, a mechanic named Alvarez reached out and made contact. The soft light enveloped his hand, and his face lit up with wonder. "They're incredible," Alvarez said, shaking his head. "It's like they can feel what you're feeling, like they understand." The ice was broken, and soon the room was buzzing with questions. How did the luminary survive in Mars' harsh environment? What technologies did they use? What could they teach humanity? The beings answered patiently, using their telepathic communication to share ideas and emotions more effectively than words ever could. The first lessons began the next day. The luminary guided the humans through their advanced technologies, starting with their energy systems. Unlike Earth's reliance on resource extraction and combustion, the luminary harnessed energy from the natural rhythms of their environment. They introduced the humans to a device that captured ambient energy from the Martian atmosphere, converting it into a sustainable power source. "You've built nuclear reactors here," one luminary noted. "Efficient but dangerous. This is safer, cleaner." The humans worked tirelessly to adapt the technology, and within weeks, the settlement's energy needs were met without the strain of heavy resource consumption. The luminary also helped improve the hydroponic farms, introducing bioengineered plants that thrived in Martian soil with minimal water. As the collaboration deepened, the luminary revealed more of their knowledge. They demonstrated techniques for interstellar travel, relying on natural gravitational currents and energy-efficient propulsion systems. They even shared insights into longevity, explaining how their species had extended their lifespans by repairing cellular damage with light-based therapies. For the crew, it was a paradigm shift. What began as a mission to colonize Mars had transformed into something far greater, a chance to rethink humanity's relationship with technology, with the environment, and with each other. Back on Earth, the news of the luminary's existence sparked a firestorm of debate. Elon had insisted on transparency, and the base transmitted a detailed report of the encounter. The revelation captivated the world, overshadowing even the most sensational headlines. For the first time in decades, global attention was united by a single topic. Reactions were mixed. Scientists were ecstatic, hailing the luminary as proof that intelligent life could exist elsewhere. Environmentalists saw their story as a cautionary tale, a dire warning about humanity's trajectory. Governments, however, were more divided. Some embraced the opportunity for collaboration, while others saw the potential for strategic advantage and the risk of vulnerability. As diplomatic discussions unfolded, Elon found himself at the center of the storm. His influence had grown far beyond that of a businessman or innovator. He was now a de facto ambassador between humanity and the luminary. "It's simple," he said during a virtual meeting with global leaders. "This isn't about politics or power. The luminary are offering us a chance to learn from their mistakes. If we squander this opportunity by competing with each other, we'll prove their worst fears about us." Not everyone was convinced, but Elon's words carried weight. His track record of audacious success and his unrelenting optimism gave him a credibility few could match. Over time, an international coalition formed, agreeing to work with the luminary under strict guidelines that prioritized ethical collaboration and equitable access to their knowledge. As Earth grappled with the implications of this new alliance, life on Mars flourished. The settlement transformed under the luminary's guidance, becoming a model of sustainability and cooperation. The crew worked alongside the beings, their initial awe evolving into camaraderie. The humans even began teaching the luminary about Earth's culture, sharing music, art, and stories. One evening, Elon watched as a luminary listened intently to a young scientist playing a violin. The being's light pulsed in time with the melody, a silent testament to its appreciation. It was a small moment, but profoundly moving, a glimpse of what humanity and the luminary could achieve together. But the luminary had one more proposal, one that would redefine humanity's future on Mars. They gathered the crew in the central chamber of their cave system, where their leader unveiled a vision that left everyone stunned. "We wish to help you terraform parts of this planet," the leader announced, its light shifting to a deep, serene blue. "Not to replicate what was lost, but to create something new. Something shared." The idea was breathtaking. By combining human engineering with luminary biotechnology, they could restore small regions of Mars to habitability, creating oases where both species could coexist. The project would take decades, even centuries, but the promise of a shared future was irresistible. "This is what we've always dreamed of," Elon said, his voice filled with emotion. "Not just surviving, but building something greater, together." Work on the terraforming project began immediately. The Luminari introduced advanced bioreactors that could generate breathable air and enrich the soil, while humans contributed drones and machinery to expedite the process. The first test site, located near the base, began to show signs of transformation within months. The red dust gave way to patches of green, and small pools of water began to form. As the project gained momentum, Earth became increasingly involved. Scientists and engineers arrived on Mars, eager to contribute. The collaboration wasn't without challenges. Cultural differences, and lingering mistrust occasionally flared, but the shared goal of creating a sustainable Mars kept everyone focused. The alliance reached its symbolic peak during a historic ceremony held on Mars. Representatives from Earth joined the luminary and the Martian settlers in a newly terraformed meadow, its grass soft and vibrant underfoot. The air was thin but breathable, a testament to their combined efforts. Elon stood at the center of the gathering, his face lined with exhaustion, but glowing with pride. As the sun set over the horizon, casting the landscape in hues of gold and crimson, he addressed the crowd. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter," he said, "not just for Mars, but for all of us. The Luminari have shown us what's possible when we choose cooperation over conflict, curiosity over fear. Together, we're not just building a colony, we're building a future." The ceremony concluded with a gesture of unity. A young child from Earth, her hair a cascade of dark curls, stepped forward with a holographic tablet. On the screen appeared the glowing form of a luminary child, its light pulsating in sync with hers. The two waved to each other, their shared laughter echoing across the field. In that moment, the potential of the alliance was clear. This wasn't just about survival or exploration. It was about understanding, respect, and the hope that two vastly different species could find common ground. As Elon watched the children interact, he felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He had spent his life chasing the stars, driven by a belief that humanity's destiny lay beyond Earth. Now, standing on a terraformed patch of Martian soil, surrounded by friends both human and alien, he realized that destiny wasn't just about reaching for the heavens. It was about learning to share them. For the first time in years, Elon felt truly at peace. The universe was vast and full of challenges, but also full of promise. And together, with the Luminari by their side, humanity was ready to embrace it.